General Krythax stood on the command deck of the Valtorian warship Decimator, his four eyes scanning the void of space with practiced precision. The conquest of the mining colony on Kepler 442b had been flawless, another victory to add to the Valtorian Empire's long list of subjugated worlds. General, his communications officer chittered nervously, mandibles clicking. We're detecting an anomalous reading. Unknown vessel approaching at impossible speeds. Krythax's scales rippled with amusement. In 300 cycles of military service, he had never encountered a species that could challenge Valtorian supremacy. Their shields were impenetrable, their weapons unmatched. Whatever primitive civilization had stumbled into their territory would soon learn the price of such foolishness. Display, he commanded. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a vessel unlike anything in the Valtorian database. It was sleek where their ships were brutish, elegant where theirs were angular. Strange symbols adorned its hull, letters that spelled UNSC Retribution. Scan the vessel, Krythax ordered. Identify species and armament. The science officer's 6 limbs worked frantically across the console. General, the database shows no match. But there's something, the ship's signature. It matches reports from the frontier colonies, the ones that went dark 3 cycles ago. A chill ran down Krythax's spine, a sensation he hadn't felt since his first battle decades ago. Those colonies hadn't just gone dark, they had been utterly destroyed, reduced to debris fields with no survivors to tell the tale. The Empire had blamed it on natural phenomena, but the truth was simpler and more terrifying. They had no idea what happened. General, what's that spaceship? His tactical officer asked, voice trembling. Before Krythax could respond, the communication console erupted with an incoming transmission. A face appeared on screen, bipedal, bilateral symmetry, relatively hairless with intense eyes that burned with barely contained fury. The creature was female, her jaw set in grim determination. Valtorian vessel, this is Captain Emma Rodriguez of the United Nations Space Command. You have exactly 60 seconds to power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded. You are hereby charged with the genocide of 14,000 human colonists on Kepler 442b. Krythax's laugh was a guttural rumble. Human? I know not this species. You will leave our territory immediately, or what? Emma's voice cut through like a plasma blade. You'll do to us what you did to our people? The miners, the families, the children you vaporized from orbit because they wouldn't abandon their homes. The general's blood ran cold. They had detected no survivors. How did this human know? Those colonists were trespassing on Valtorian territory, Krythax said, drawing himself to full height. They refused to leave. We merely cleansed the planet for proper use. Emma's expression didn't change, but something in her eyes shifted, something ancient and primal that transcended species. You murdered 14,000 civilians. You murdered my sister and her family. A new voice cut into the transmission, male this time. Emma, we have positive weapons lock. The man appeared beside her on screen, another human, younger, with the same terrifying calm in his eyes. Shall I deploy Jason Protocol, Captain? Not yet, Lieutenant Jason Chun. Emma replied, never breaking eye contact with Krythax. The general needs to understand what's about to happen. General, humanity has been in space for less than a century. In that time, we've learned one immutable truth. We're not the strongest species in the galaxy. We're not the most advanced. We're not even the most numerous. She leaned forward, her knuckles white against the armrest of her command chair. But we are the most stubborn, the most adaptable, and the most vindictive species you will ever encounter. When you kill our people, we don't retreat. We don't negotiate. We don't forget. Krythax felt his tactical officer tugging at his uniform. General, their weapons are charging. Energy signatures are impossible. They're channeling more power than our entire fleet combined. Impossible, Krythax whispered. 47 Valtorian ships. Emma continued, her voice steady as a blade. You think that's a fleet? We lost 14,000 souls, General. 47 ships is just the down payment. The view screen split, showing tactical displays. Behind the retribution, space itself seemed to tear open as dozens, no, hundreds, of human vessels emerged from faster-than-light travel. Each one bore the same insignia, the same grim purpose. It's the humans, the tactical officer screamed. And they're not happy. General, we need to run. Krythax stood frozen, his centuries of military experience crumbling before an enemy he couldn't comprehend. The human vessels moved with impossible precision, forming a sphere around his fleet with no gaps, no escape routes. General, his weapons officer called out, voice breaking. They're not just targeting our ships. They're targeting our homeworld coordinates, our colony locations, our supply lines, everything. How do they know our entire strategic network? Emma's smile was cold as the void. Your people weren't the only ones we've encountered, General. Turns out, the galaxy is full of species willing to share information about empires that genocide civilians. And humanity? We're very good listeners. Jason spoke again from his station. Captain, all ships report ready. Awaiting your command. Krythax found his voice, though it came out as a pathetic rasp. Wait, we can negotiate. Reparations. Territory. Whatever you want. What we want, Emma said softly. You can never give back. But you're going to spend the rest of your very short life wishing you could. She raised her hand. All ships, fire at will. The void erupted in light as humanity's fury made itself known to the galaxy. The Valtorian warship Decimator, pride of the Empire, lasted exactly 14 seconds against the human assault. 1 second for every 1,000 murdered colonists. General Krythax's last thought, as his ship disintegrated around him, was that the Empire had made a critical error in its intelligence gathering. Humans weren't just another species to be cataloged and dismissed. They were a reckoning, and they had only just begun. End.